Alright, so we're just kind of analyzing the data a little bit more. So with this one here, you can either look at it month to month. So like here, we're looking at it says August, but that's not right. We're looking at August 2024. And if you scroll through all the different months, you can look at the different stuff. So we have solar production, battery discharge, battery charge, imported to user, and consumption. So you want the solar production to be higher than everything else. If that's not happening, you're not going to get ahead. When we have a month like this, where you see that all the brown stuff is consumption and imported to user, which means that the solar didn't do anything. It's right here, it's at the bottom. Not only did it didn't do that, but it's almost like we had no fucking battery or something. Because this thing will run without a battery hooked up to it. Especially if you have it plugged into the grid. So it's almost like the battery was just like shut off or something. But and what happens is I could turn the battery off right now. This is another problem with this thing. It'll read some erroneous voltage, and it'll be quite a while before it says anything. But maybe if we go and look and see, there should be an event if there is. It's pretty good about saving information. But to me, like, we have solar and battery charging, but no discharging. So it's just strange. So, now if we go look at the year, we can see what went on. And there's July over here. We basically have no solar, and we have high consumption and high import to user. Previous months we didn't have any of that because it wasn't even hooked up to the grid at all. I hooked it up to the grid in late June, and the idea was because it started getting hot and the air conditioners are wired up to the system directly. I would normally have to, when the system shuts down, manually plug it in to the grid to power those loads, or unplug those loads and plug them into the house. So I started doing this and it backfired on me. We can look at the total. What does that look like? See how 2024, we made more solar than we used. Where we're at right here, I don't know what the number is. What's the number here? Solar production 1070, and then consumption 775. So here we're making 1,535 kilowatt hours. We've consumed 15 kilowatt hours. And we have imported 757 kilowatt hours. That's a lot. And the battery has been charged 647 kilowatt hours and discharged 371. Kind of gives you a better idea of what's going on here. And when we look at the big picture, it's pretty obvious to see that, hey, you're using more than you're making, and you have this other added cost right here because you just imported 757 kilowatt hours. That's a lot. I don't even use that much in a month normally. And that's just for this. It means the rest of the house probably used 300. So, pretty bad stuff. You can manage these columns and say whatever you want. The export to grid is not an option because this inverter doesn't do that. But so I usually look at it on kind of a monthly, daily basis. So anyway, today we should eclipse this. I've got the grid disconnected. Our production so far is 2.5 kilowatts. We've discharged the battery 3.1. We've charged it 5.1 because it was really down there. And we've imported 6.5 kilowatts just since last night. We've imported more than we've even used or made all day. So that sucks. So here we are on our chart here. Solar is the blue, consumption is the orangish color. If the grid was on, that would be the one in the middle. That's kind of a reddish. And green is the battery. And right now, according to this, we're sucking power out of the battery. Because we have 2 air conditioners on that draw a lot of power, and a third one that doesn't do too bad. So right now, our solar production is 1525 plus 871, and I don't know what that adds up to, but our total load is 2537. We're pulling an additional 330 watts out of the battery right now. And so what would happen is this would go on all day long, but it would be pulling it from the grid. The battery would never rise to the cutoff voltage to cut off the grid, and therefore you would have absolutely no solar production. It's not able to charge the battery at all. The solar can't charge the battery when the grid is on. It's the dumbest crap ever. All my other inverters are able to do that. Even the cheap ass, like $300-400 POW MR that has like some 40 watt charge controller built into it, and it's like a 3 kW inverter. And also the other thing I do with my other systems, I have dedicated charge controllers that go directly to the battery bank. So no matter what the inverter decides it wants to do, I have a whole array of solar panels that will always charge the panels, or excuse me, always charge the batteries, no matter what the stupid all-in-one inverter wants to do.